Hey everybody, we're back from break for more Dungeon of the Mad Mage. So, previously we'd left off with the party entering into the building labeled as the Guts and Farters, where they met the proprietor, Quietude, a tiefling man, dressed in faded and stained clothing, rubbing his temples and seemingly quite unenthusiastic about having guests within his inn. So, what would you like to do?
So we were here for
Rooms.
rooms. Okay.
For having a place to stay, we were told it would be a better idea to have this to stay here as a place to kind of lay low.
For clarification, right? What Kalal told you was that if you wanted to keep up appearances or have like a hideaway type scenario, it might be a good idea to rent a room, because otherwise, if you're going to be like consistently going back and forth to the fortress, then you're going to get tailed and people are going to find you there.
And Ezra's thought was, let's not have people recognize us
Sure.
going to the fortress. Let's have them recognize us coming here or something.
And that's kind of the basic idea that Kalal was saying, right? Is if you're going to be in town for a little bit, right? Obviously, if you need to use the safe house, use the safe house. But otherwise, it might be best to stay at an inn. Etc. Anyways, so this is a rather large building, right? You guys came up on it from the south side, and it's large. It's 2-story, maybe 2.5-story. It's kind of hard to see the top of it. It's up with, all of the different like catwalks and riggings jumbled back and forth across around it, right? There are you can see there are definitely catwalks that come up to the building itself. Like there seem to be doors on the second floor that lead out to some of these catwalks, so you can kind of like just go directly from the building out onto the kind of like the second story of the city, right? But the innkeep just kind of stands there with his hands, little black taloned fingers, slowly rubbing his temples. Says, "Can I help you, or are you just gonna stand in my doorway all day?"
We're looking to get some rooms. You got any available?
We have 3. 5 gold per room per day. Up front.
How many beds in each of those?
1.
All right.
How big are the rooms? Just out of curiosity.
You can
Would you say
fit
they're
in
like
them.
10 by 10?
He literally says you can fit in them.
Well, if this place isn't a winner, I don't know what is. So you said 5 gold up front?
5 gold per room per day.
Let's do 1 room and cuddle. And if it is not cuddle worthy, then we will deal with that afterwards.
Sure.
All right.
Not less. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. You hand over the 5 gold. Quietude kind of like gives you this kind of like sullen look. Pockets the gold, turns around, walks over behind him. There's a little like box, wooden hutch basically, that has these little skeleton keys dangling from it. He grabs one, walks over, and says, "Room 4." He points down to the doorway to the south. Says, staircase through there. Up to the second floor. The fourth one is on your right.
Appreciated.
Thank you. Been real helpful.
You guys,
Walk
head
away.
up to your room.
Hope your day gets better.
As soon as you leave.
Ow! Just. Ow!
Not a pleasant fella.
Nope.
So, copy. You guys head up. And basically, so actually, as you come up it's the fourth door. It's up here. So you guys find yourself. We got to do a little bit of a scene, a little change. You guys need to go north on the map.
Oh, to go upstairs.
Yeah, because the reason this map is so big is the ground floor is on the south side and the second floor is on the north side.
It's literally twice as big as it needs to be.
Absolutely. The third floor is on an entirely different screen.
How's it getting bigger as it goes up?
It didn't. They just decided to split it out as a third one. I don't know why.
Reverse ziggurat.
Yeah. So you guys find yourselves in front of a door.
It's
The key goes in, right, and it kind of like you have to jiggle it, right? It bites the lock, and you're like, son of a bitch. Like every time you go to a hotel and the key doesn't fucking work, and you got to go back down, and it's so, and then it clicks, and the door's kind of like it doesn't like creak open, it like screeches open. It's like on the hinges. It's bad.
great.
And it is, as you see, a very tiny room. There is a very tiny bed. Ezra, if you stretch out to your full height, right, in the bed, your feet will hang off the edge.
And I'm the short one.
And you're the short one.
Would
And
you
it's
want me to go-
it's literally got like one threadbare sheet on it. Also, Zach, you're muted if you're talking at us.
There's no walls. I can clip through everything.
Oh, can you clip through everything? Okay, hold up.
Everything, dude.
Okay, stop moving. Hold up.
Stop doing that.
I found myself in the room to the south, and I was like, oh, all right.
Dude.
It's two of these.
Whoa.
So,
So
you guys want to go get another room?
Roll20 instituted their lighting changes, their dynamic lighting updates, and they did that a while back, but they had them as separate features. They had the regular lighting, the classic lighting, and then the dynamic lighting. About 2 weeks ago, they bundled them, and now they're one thing. It's you gotta, motherfucker. But I don't know if this was a them or this was a me, but the restrict movement is not enabled. So
My body, my choice, Jeremy.
no, absolutely not.
I think I'm gonna go back downstairs and get another key to another room.
That's probably
we
a good
can all,
idea.
we can all
I'll
sleep
come with
like
you.
this.
I would potentially ask that it be, nearby, because
Yeah.
this could be
I mean, if you want to roleplay it out, we'll do it. Otherwise, just give me the key to room 3 or 5.
Give him the loot. Give him the loot.
The only two rooms that are left are 5 and 7.
Is 5 the one just to the south of us?
No, that's 3.
Where is 5 and where is 7? We would like 2 rooms that are
Don't
not.
tell me that's on...
Here is 7, and here is 5.
Oh, Lord. That was a lot of movement.
Oh, Lord.
So, no is the answer, basically. Although, in fairness, 5 and 7 are closer to each other than 4 is to any of them. So, what would you like?
Peace and quiet.
I don't care. Do you have a preference? I guess Matt, since you're with me.
I'm not there.
Wait, one more time?
5 and 7. 5 is down here, 7's up here.
Let's say 5, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. Room 5, please. And I put 5 gold on the table.
Okay. He gives you the key, and you guys come back up and find room 5 down here. There's also a door leading out onto some catwalks to the south of you.
On the catwalk. On the catwalk. It's
Well.
on the catwalk, baby.
These are very
It's a very nice
intimate
rooms.
rooms.
Yeah. You want
Yeah,
top or bottom?
that's a word for
Basically,
it.
they top each other.
So, you guys have rented rooms. What would you like to do now?
I don't think we need to sleep though, do we? We pretty
It's
much get in
like-
the room.
I think it's early afternoon at this point, since it was a trip down to the Underdark to go meet with
It's-
Ezrah, to get to Skullport.
It's at about 5 p.m. at this point.
Okay. We could go look around a little bit more. What else do we have on the docket?
Well, I
didn't know
mean,
we had a
We
docket at the
could
moment.
go talk to Droon about getting a hold of Clan Iron Eye. We know where he is.
Okay,
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
sounds like a plan.
Drew, question.
To the Droon.
All right, so you guys head back downstairs out of the guts and garters. Go ahead and
Yeah.
copy pasta you guys down here.
Guts and garters.
All right.
Sorry, the guts and farters. So, if you guys want to locate yourselves, you are down here, back on the second map. And the directions that you would have been given wouldn't have been super specific because Kalal knew that you may be going from many different locations. So she would have told you that it's on the west side of the city, right? It's a very large building. She would have described the building to you. And she specifically would have called out the square that it is off of, which is called the Herald's Meet. So, you guys can find your way through the city. I'm going to go ahead and move you guys along. And as you're moving along, right, you are privy to the creaks, the wind blowing, the passerbys, right? There are people that you pass through the streets or you see in the distance, torchlight bobbing here or there. After your encounter, right, there are a couple of moments where you see green flames in the distance here or there, but never for very long. As you are kind of like passing by a couple of the buildings, you hear shouts, like it sounds like there's brawls that happen, that break out, right? You go past alleyways and you see dark, shadowy figures huddling there, but you four present a group generally too large for individuals to feel like they want to challenge you. Okay? You eventually find your way eastward. And you actually go past the building because, again, you don't really know what you're looking for. But eventually you find your way to a square that you kind of identify as the Herald's Meet by the description that Kalal gave you. Which means that the location that you're looking for is probably this building on the right, which would be the Black Tankard. However, your attention is kind of drawn northward as you see a small crowd forming. So, kind of set the scene real quick. This town square is littered with trash. Nearly all the buildings that surround it are run down or seemingly abandoned. At its north end stands a man around whom a small crowd has formed. Over the murmur of the crowd, you can hear the man preaching. "This group of thugs extorts us, charging us for protection from themselves. We must band together, rise up, raise the true rulers of the Port of Shadows, throw off the shackles of the Xanathar, return power to the Enclave." And there's mutters back and forth throughout the crowd throughout this speech, right? But at this point, as it kind of gets to this point, right, you watch as a man steps forward from the crowd. A tall, broad-shouldered man, a little older, right? Rugged features, but he steps forward to this other fellow and holds for a second, kind of like nods, and then he rears back and just punches him in the fucking face. And the other guy crumples, right? And this broad-shouldered man kind of like looks down at him and says, "Shut your mouth, Carlisle. Before you get yourself killed, then drag the rest of us down with you." And he kind of turns to walk away, and the other man, the fallen man, kind of like reaches out a hand and grabs his boot, right? And then he turns, the attacker turns, and just gives a swift kick to the other guy's gut, right? You hear this gasp and double up, and you see almost immediately, like, there's some as this turns a little more violent, there's some people in the crowd that start to like filter away, right? They're like, okay, never mind, not a part of this, right? But most of the people are just kind of like standing around murmuring. A couple of people like look sympathetic towards this Carlisle individual. A couple of people are kind of like nodding in agreement with the guy, right? But after the kick, the guy kind of like, Carlisle's hand falls off his boot, and the other guy kind of turns around and just walks off. Like, just walks off, walks south, kind of like past you, right? And as he's walking past, right, he's this, again, gruff, older gentleman, right? He kind of like squints at you, and he kind of like eyes you up and down. He says, "Welcome to the Port of Shadows. You got prying eyes. I'd suggest you close them." And he keeps walking.
I stare that motherfucker down the whole way.
He doesn't look back at you.
I don't care. I keep looking.
Okay, fair enough.
Keep crying with my eyes.
Kick him in the gut.
Crying with his eyes. So you see, like, in the brief aftermath, right, you see a couple of the people do go forward. Two folk help up the Carlisle individual. A couple of other people mill around, but it seems the crowd is broken for the most part. People start to filter away here or there until this happening is no longer a happening. So, while that is happening, to the east of you is this big building, the one you have had described to you. And outside of this building is a sign, and it literally just shows a big ass black tankard on a brown board. That's all it is. No words, nothing like that. It's just a big black tankard on a brown board.
All show down here, huh? I see.
Let's say we better get our prying eyes off the street, I suppose.
You know, in hindsight, we definitely should have short rested while we were at the inn, but kind of forgot we got slapped around a bit by that acid.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm missing like 20 HP.
Okay.
Oh well, we're just going.
You guys head inside.
Don't start no shit. Won't be no shit.
All right.
Let's go inside.
Okay, so
Oh, hello.
Oh, that's a large minotaur, man.
through the doors you find a squalid one-story tavern designed as though two smaller buildings were stuck oddly together at the corners. A few old tables and chairs dominate the south side of the space, while a small bar holds the north side. A gray-skinned dwarf runs back and forth across the bar. But the things that catch your eye the most are the two immense minotaurs standing in the corners and the small floating eye hovering about the rafters. An odd amount of security for such a small tavern.
Refresher, this was the place that caters to the Xanathar Guild, right?
As Kalal told you, yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Okay. So there are a few patrons in here, right? As you guys kind of like step in, you witness, right, this Dwargar bartender kind of like waltz across one side of the bar over to a old kind of like heavy set man, right? Big kind of like patchy beard, right? Not groomed very well, and he's obviously in his cups to the point to where he's literally in a cup. Like his face is half rested on the sill of the tankard in front of him, and you see there's 3 tankards just off to the side of him, like they haven't been cleaned or taken away, right? And the Dwargar kind of like walks over and he smacks the mug out from underneath the guy's head, and the guy's head just goes boom down onto the countertop, and then he grabs him. The guy starts awake, right? This Dwargar grabs him by the collar and pulls him forward, and he says, "You're drunk, Bernard! Give me my money and get out!" And the guy kind of like fumbles, right? And he reaches for a coin purse, and he kind of like only half gets it up onto the counter before the Dwargar just grabs the whole thing and shoves the man, and the man falls back off of his stool and clatters down onto the ground. And he's obviously just he's wasted, right? And he just kind of like, ugh. He gets up and he kind of like crawls over a few feet and then gets up on his hands and knees, and then he makes his way over to this other door, right? Before he kind of like pulls himself up on the handle, and he barely is up on his feet and pushes the door open and stumbles out into the darkness.
Cool.
All right, well, let's make sure we don't drink too much while we're here. I walk up to the Duergar. Excuse me.
What?
Looking for a Droon. You know him?
I know him.
You know where I can find him?
Depends on who's asking.
My name's Matt.
I don't give a shit about your name. I care about reasons and who you work for.
Well, you should have been more clear about that. You asked who.
He literally like rolls his eyes at you.
I'll look back. Does it seem like the other patrons in the bar are like
Quiet as mice.
okay?
They have tankards in front of them, and they're sitting at the same table, like across from each other, and they're just sipping on their tankards, and they're just like two middle-aged human men, or at least that's what they look like, right? Calloused, haggard. They look like maybe like porters or dockhands or something like that. They look like they do heavy lifting work, right? And they're just quiet drinking. Quiet drinking.
I'll look at them. We're here on Legion business.
You can
We're
kind
gonna
of
get fucking shanked.
squints at
Y'all
that.
fucking thought I was gonna get shanked.
I think we're gonna get shanked over fucking
What
money.
sort of business?
We're looking for a clan.
Kind of where we fuck you up, mate.
You know anything about Iron
I'm
Eye?
assuming that was out of character.
Yeah, I've never done that. What the fuck?
So sorry, what did you say, Ash?
Why'd you start now?
I said
might be funny.
we're looking for a clan. Goes by Iron Eye.
And
Damn, he
Let's
has
go.
so many questions.
Well, I mean, his questions have pretty much just been and.
Well, and
They have a weapon that we're trying to retrieve.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know any clan Iron Eye. Sounds like you got the wrong place.
damn, you just fucking explained all over that guy.
Man, fuck you.
Directly on top of him.
Fucking kind of impressive, actually.
I think we can definitely make the conclusion that it's no longer Crick-splaining, it's Jay-splaining.
I don't like it.
I think you gave information, Jay. Thank you.
No,
it
that's
was
the problem.
easy to
I
talk
get
to
it.
you.
Is apparently I give too much is the problem. I shouldn't be
was
giving
fun.
information at all. In fact,
He's
I'm
a
just gonna say
Jedi.
good day and leave.
Good
Okay,
day to
but
you,
The
sir.
only thing that I got like
I'm
weird
out.
about is that we're literally looking for Azrok's dagger that was taken by this dude's clan. Not the bartender, but like I'm assuming Druin's clan or clan he knows. And we're just like, yeah, the Legion sent us.
Yeah. Whatever, man.
So now I got distracted where that ended. So how did that end again?
It ended with me ridiculing
Apparently
Jay. Wouldn't
The
it?
Not
bartender
well.
said, I don't know what you're talking about. Seems like you got the wrong place. And then Ashes was like, good day to you then. And walked
He
away.
probably wants money. Give him money.
We're looking to purchase something from them. Could compensate you for getting us in touch with them.
What you looking to buy?
What are you buying?
Looking for a weapon.
What are you selling?
Got any more specifics than that?
Yeah, I need another dagger. Literally another dagger.
Sounds like you need a weapons shop then. This is a bar.
Yeah, we know.
Whence it bones.
No, I give him 5 gold. Look, you remember where he is now?
You lay 5 gold on the table, on the countertop.
Yeah.
He looks down at it, hand out, slides it across the countertop. Aye. The nice gift you given me there. Get something for my birthday. And he pockets it. So what can I do for you boys?
Ashes.
Oh, I've already walked away.
Okay. Ashes is J-Mad. We're looking for Durnan Shadow Keep. What's his name?
Durnan Shadowkeep.
Oh
I
my!
don't know the dude's name, bro.
I know what it is. I ain't saying it.
Durnan Gold
Nope.
Shadow.
Droon
Yes.
Drone.
Stone Dark.
Correct.
Drone Stone Dark. That's the one.
I already told your friend I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, do you not know what he's talking about, or do you not know what he's talking about? And I wink like 17 times.
He crosses his arms at you and he glowers and he says, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, I'll leave.
All right. If you don't know, you don't know.
I guess he doesn't know. I mean, people that know get rewarded. I'm real loud about it.
Well, I think that's all dead end for us, boys. Let's get out of here.
Yep. You guys leave?
Yeah.
I feel like there was more there. We should catch him in a back
I say,
alley.
Oh yeah, definitely.
no, that's what I was gonna say. Is once we get out and like out of earshot and kind of away, I'm say, why don't we stake the place out? Maybe when he leaves the bar, we can find out if he goes and alerts this clan Iron Eye after we've spooked.
Okay. Yeah, I have literally nothing else to do.
Was one of his eyes made of iron?
Oh, that's a good question. Was it?
Ooh, yeah, that's important information.
No. One of his
Wait,
eyes
he has
was not
eyes?
made of iron.
Did
Was
he
it-
have
was
an
it
eye patch?
steely
Was
gray?
he covering the iron eye?
Did it look like if he removed the eye patch, he would get significantly more powerful?
He did not have an eye patch. Or an iron eye.
That's disappointing.
Was there any like iron motifs in the bar?
What's her name?
The
Scala?
Minotaur had
Calia?
big ass iron
Calia?
axes.
What the hell was her name? Didn't she
Not-
tell us to come here?
Hello?
Yeah,
Kalal. Yes.
Sinister.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's safe to assume this is absolutely the right place and that is absolutely the right person.
We must have. Are we sure his name? That's not actually him. I bet that was
No.
actually him.
We are not sure. At this
Well-
point, I don't know what we're sure of.
I'm unsure
Oh, I'm
of
sure of
anything.
something.
What are you sure of?
Nothing.
He can't J-splain to you. Can't give away too much information. The heck? Or else, you know. So, you
So
exit the
where
bar.
is there things we could easily? Is there what is around for us to hide around and spend the next like?
As I said,
like
right?
8 hours.
When you guys showed up to Harold's Meet, many of the buildings, the nearby buildings, look to be in ruins or abandoned.
Hell yeah, I wanna-
most
I
of
wanna
them
give me
look
some
like they
squatters'
are
rights.
empty.
I'm down for squatters' rights.
So are you guys wanting to just try to like look into a building or something like that, or
No,
Try to, like,
Scottish
Let's,
rites, I
let's,
told
find,
you.
let's find a building and just play chin chin until he comes out.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Do you guys
Fucking
just
shit.
do you take the first empty building that you find, or do you look around? Are you being
Which
choosy?
one has the best vantage point of the one exit that we can see of this building, despite the fact he's probably going to take the other exit?
Yeah,
Well, why don't we look around and see if there's another exit?
Well, you saw a man go through another exit.
There's
Alright,
always another exit.
Then why don't we put 2 at one entrance, 2 at the other, and when we see him, we send 1 to go get the person and then meet back up.
Okay.
Do we want to do like
1
a
to go get the
protocol?
other 2 and meet back up.
So that sounds like there's definitely going to need to be some scouting around to see about, like, different locations to hide out at.
Correct.
I volunteer as tribute.
It is during the scouting period. You guys find a couple of different buildings relatively quickly. But it's during the scouting on the east side of the building that you find that drunk man who had stumbled out of the bar previously in a heap in an alleyway, bleeding out.
Oh, we got fucking cut. Ooh, shit. Who finds him? Specifically?
I'm assuming you guys are traveling as a group while you're investigating. That you would probably stick together until you had established where your 2 locations were going to be, and then you would split up. So I'm assuming you guys find him together.
All right.
Unless
when
you
bleeding out,
would
is
like
he
it to be
dead?
otherwise.
I'm gonna check his pulse. Pulse check him.
He has a pulse, but he's
All right.
bleeding into the streets.
Where's he bleeding?
It looks
Fine.
like he got stabbed in the back.
In the back? Oh shit, that's really hard to first aid. Shit. I grab the staff and I tap him in the back and I cure wounds him.
Tip. Tip.
Tap,
Okay.
tap.
Your cure wounds, right? You can go and roll it for me if you'd like.
Okay. Boom.
He says, shit.
Don't get better than that.
Your cure wounds, right, heals the man. And there's this sudden like like he does the whole like seizing back from the brink of death. Like you basically like you healed him at 0 hit points, basically, right?
Yeah.
You brought him back from the brink of death. Like had you done nothing, he would have died. And he goes through that whole like life flooding back into his body, pulled back from the edge, and he kind of like rolls slightly and he kind of like looks at you, but you realized you have saved his life, but he is still wasted. He's still dead drunk, right? And he kind of like claps
Remove the
you
poison from
on
him.
your shoulder,
Alcohol's
right?
poison.
Huh?
Sober him up. Remove poison from him.
So I have a Lester Restoration. I don't know if that makes you less drunk.
One way to
Lesser
find out.
It does cure poison.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
fuck it.
technically that's what
Hopefully-
being drunk is.
Hopefully, we don't get into any really bad fights because I'm spending a bunch to save a hobo.
Oh, we don't have. I was gonna say, Crix, can you do it? But Crix is not in this game.
Crix
I-
is
my
not in
life
this
played
game.
on,
that's on me.
Yep.
All right. I expend 2 more slots and I Lesser Restoration him. I kind of poke him in the gut.
So he's
the
like
snap.
turned slightly, right? He's kind of like rolled, and he's clapping you on the arm, like, and then he does the whole like turn, and you watch, right, as like his face like begins to pinch and shift, and he looks like suddenly like he's having like really bad cramps or something like that. You watch as he suddenly turns literally green in the gills, right? As you watch this kind of green flush come up his neck and then into his face, right? And he looks at you and he turns and he heaves and he heaves and he heaves. And you remove the poison, you get rid of the drunk because he vomits it all back up. And this goes for like a good like 30-45 seconds before he gets to the point to where he's kind of like dry heaving. And remember, right, this is in Skullport, right, to where there's this kind of like consistent Seattle dark black drizzle right down around you. So he's literally like laying in this wet street, just vomiting into a puddle. And eventually he kind of like comes back and he wipes his mouth and he says, "I thought I was dead."
Well, I think you pretty much were, there, fella.
Probably would have been better that way.
Nah, don't say that. And I like try to help him up.
So he kind of like reactively like gets up as you kind of like pull him up, and you see he's this older man, worn, bent back, right? Kind of like a gut on him, one of those like beer guts type scenarios, like he doesn't take care of himself, but he still has these kind of like bigger, brawny arms, or at least like the remnants of like used to be big, brawny arms in his heyday, right? That type of scenario. But as you pull him up, and he's kind of like, he wipes some of the sweat and grime away from his face, trying to like wipe puke off of his mouth. He looks at you, and he looks like a person lost, like battered. And he says, "Well, what's the point? Son's dead. Grandson's missing. No family. No friends. Might as well." And he kind of like looks at you, and he claps you on your arm in kind of like this like gesture of like thanks, I guess. And then he kind of like turns and he just kind of like slowly shuffles off, like heading.
What's your name, old timer?
northward. Name's Burnin' Stormshore. What's yours?
Yeah, that's our guy right there.
My name's Matt.
Matt Pat.
Thanks
I
for
kinda
the
look back
help,
to
Matt.
group. I kind of look back at the group with like questioning in my eyes. Like, can we help him with his grandson?
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Well, like, are you guys okay if we like?
I mean, we ain't doing shit.
Yeah,
Alright.
we ain't doing no. We got literally nothing on our plate.
Hey, Burnin',
Also, I'm 80% sure this is our guy.
Yeah.
what happened with your grandson? Maybe we can help you out.
Spinning yarns, telling tales. You were gonna do that, you should have just left me drunk. Would have had an easier time of it.
Look, we're adventurers. This is kind of what we do.
Seen your ilk come and go through here. You're interested in helping an old man. Fair enough. I need a drink. Not to catch my death of chill. My house is north of here. Come if you want. Not. Thanks for the hand. He starts to slowly kind of like shuffle northward.
All right.
Damn, does he look back
so
longingly
we-
to see if we're following?
are we gonna? Because if we don't stake out, we're not gonna see if he goes run into Droon.
I'll stake
So,
out. I'm stealthy.
Does Droon often treat you that rough?
Moon. Yeah, he's a bit of a shite. Not normally this bad. Kind of like rubs his face and he says, but then again, normally I hold my liquor a bit better. Not
I don't know,
exactly
he's-
gentle with the ones
He's
that's...
kind of a dick.
Yeah, he is.
Master of subterfuge.
J splitting paid off.
Here, look, I'll give you I'll give fucking Matt or somebody one of the sending stones, and I'll stay and I'll watch.
All right. There's two entrances. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Is there a spot where you would be able to see both of them?
I don't know. Is there a spot where I can see both of them, Jeremy? What if I just sit on the roof of the building?
Now we're thinking.
You could definitely try that.
All right.
So
well,
you still wouldn't be able to like... Oh, I say you
If
could
that
definitely
seems
try
like the
that.
most reasonable thing.
So,
then that's what I would
actually, the roof of the building itself is 2 stories, at
do.
least.
I'd have a climb
But
speed.
the tavern is just a single story, and you saw no stairs. So,
Okay.
getting up on the roof might be a little more complicated.
I can't just climb the wall. I have a climb speed.
Sure. Yeah. So I didn't mean complicated in the concept of like you specifically being able to get up there. I meant like once you're up above. So the ground floor is one thing, but once you're up on the second floor, there's a bunch of catwalks and random bits and bobs and rigging and ropes and lines and shit like that all over the place. So if you were on the roof of the second story build or the 2-story building, right? Being able to see both entrances is pretty much a nada at that point anyways. So I don't think it would serve your purpose.
Are they on like separate corners? Where are the 2 entrances?
So I can just show you real quick. So where you guys are at, right? You can see there's an entrance right here, right?
Yeah.
And then so let's do this. You come all this way, and then there's an entrance over here. So in theory, someone could sit like here, but then your vision range isn't really far enough to cover the angles 100%, right? And if you were on top of the building, because they're on opposite ends and there's a bunch of like catwalks and shit in the way, you still can't see every possible angle. So I'm not trying to like cheat you guys and be like, oh, well, you said we could see the doors. You can, in theory, see the doors, but you can't cover every angle from one location. I mean, that's a lie. You can cover every angle from one location. That location is inside the bar.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, go in there, chat up a minotaur.
So, and you guys
I'll
would
just
have been
go
able to
inside the
see
bar,
that as you're kind of
whatever
like
then.
going around. Say what?
I'll just go hang out in the bar then. It's fine.
Okay. So
I'll just
Bones is
slow-
gonna
I'll
spend
slow
time in
drink
the bar.
all night.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And-
Well, message us if anything sketchy starts happening. We'll come running.
You okay?
Maybe not by yourself. That seems.
I mean,
You know,
you
this
go.
guy was
Somebody's
just,
welcome
stabbed
to stay.
being. Ashes, would you stay and I can go with Matt, or that the other way works too, but we should definitely not leave a single man by himself.
I don't want to be that scenario, but Ashes actually followed Burnin. Like, Burnin didn't just sit there and wait for you guys to have a 3-minute conversation. Burnin started walking and Ashes followed him. Now, they're not walking so fast as that anyone couldn't catch up to them. You guys saw the direction that they went. But Ashes is no longer standing right there for you to ask if he wants to go be Bones second in the bar.
Okay, if Matt is intent on helping this man, then I will follow Bones.
So, Ezra, you'll go with Bones? Okay.
I give Ezra the staff of healing, just in case.
Okay.
Well, because you're at half
Took
fucking
$1 million
speed, dude.
baby inside, so.
Flap a boy.
And then I
take
hurry
one.
off to Burnin.
Okay, so you run off to the north, and you saw they had headed west, right? So you head a little ways that way before you actually see. You start to catch up. You can see Ashes walking in the distance, and you catch up to them as they're basically arriving at Burnin's house. Meanwhile, Bones and Ezra, you guys head back into the bar.
Yes.
Okay.
I am a bar cat now.
As you kind of come in, right, the bartender kind of like sighs and he says, at least it's only half of you that's back. You gonna buy something this time around? Or just give me
I've
money?
come to drink.
Yeah, let's get 2 ales, please.
And he kind of like, he smiles, right, and he kind of chuckles at that. He says, right. 2 ales. And so he goes over to a keg and he kind of like pours you some ales, quote unquote. And he slides the tankards towards you. He
Hey, why you
says,
gotta be rude?
2 silver each.
I put 5 on the table.
Okay. Whichever one of you takes a drink first. This is the worst swill you have ever had the misfortune of drizzling down your gob. Like, it is just foul. And the fact that he's selling it, period, much less for 2 fucking silver a tankard, is a travesty. It is just bullshit. Okay.
Yes, okay.
But you guys are legitimately just gonna drink? You're not gonna try to, like, pry him for information or do anything like that? At least for
I might
now?
do that once he calms the fuck down.
Okay. So, that's a yes. For now, we're just gonna drink. Gotcha. So.
By drink, you mean pretend to drink.
Pretend to drink, absolutely. So, Ashes and Matashtai, you guys follow Burnin Stormshore up to a not dilapidated building, but a building that's definitely seen better days. He fumbles for a key, eventually unlocks the building and heads inside. And inside, it's much cozier than it seemed like it might have been outside, right? There's a lot in here. A lot of stuff. Just a lot of, like, it's kind of got that old person house vibe going on, where there's just a lot of junk. There's a lot of space that is filled with random knickknacks. Most of the things that are in here are starkly contrasted, though. They're either, like, cold iron objects, like you see there's a replica of, like, a little anchor, right? But it's made out of, like, wrought iron. It doesn't look like professionally made. It looks like an amateur job. And there's a bunch of things like that versus there's a lot of fur, right? Like very soft, warm stuff. And there's actually like the remnants of a fire, like barely burning coals in the in a fireplace in the far corner. So the whole place has this kind of like overly warm feeling to it, and you suddenly realize, being in this kind of like warm, cozy atmosphere, how terribly fucking cold Skullport is. The entire time you're just like, you're just wet, and it's just chill and damp the entire time, but it kind of like seeps in, and you get to the point to where you're just like, this is life. The Underdark. Yay. But this place is like this warmth outside of it, this warmth away from all of the doom and gloom. Okay? Okay. Vernon is true to his word, and he basically like stumbles over to a liquor cabinet, and he takes a bottle and he throws it over in a bin, right? That you see is filled with liquor bottles. And he kind of like rummages around until he finds something that he can actually pour into a glass. And pours it, takes a shot, pours again, takes a second shot, and then he pours a third one into a larger glass, and he kind of like slowly shuffles over to this almost kind of like big, it would basically be like what we would consider a recliner, but it's just like a big chair made out of zirkwood, right? The mushroom trees. But it's just like bundled up in hides and furs and everything like that until it's so fucking cushioned that he's basically like, he sits in it and he just like sinks in a good half of this. And remember, right? He's a big man. He's a big old man. Like half of his body just kind of like disappears into the thing. And he just kind of like leans back and he just kind of like starts sipping. Say what?
So he's human?
Yeah, he's human.
Okay.
That looks comfy as hell.
He kind of like gestures, and you see there's a kind of like a love seat, right? That's decked out in much the same way, right? It's basically like a half couch, but it's similar make, right? Of Zirkwood design, and it's just piled on with furs over and over and over again. And you actually like, as you kind of like move over to it, he gestures to it. You move over to it. You actually see there's an indention in it, right? This is obvious, like this furniture is used and probably used frequently. It has that kind of like look and feel of it, and there's you unmistakably, you walk up to it, right, and you can see there's the shape, the impression of a small human on the couch.
I take a seat, avoiding the small indent.
I mean, there's not, it's small, but it basically takes up the love seat. You're
Yeah,
like he's not like fucked up about it. He's fucked up about it. He's not fucked up about it.
All right. I take a seat and I say, we've had a bit of a day. You mind if we relax a bit while we chat?
I've got no qualms with taking you.
All right, pop squat. Real quick, his name Burnin' Storm Shadow, or was it something else?
Storm Shore.
Storm Shore. All right. Well, I guess why don't you start at the beginning for us and tell us what happened, if you don't mind. Is your grandson's missing related to your son's death?
Beginning, not that big. That's an old wound. Unrelated. The boy's pa's been dead 8-9 years.
Sorry for your loss.
The fool. Fell in with the wrong crowd. Didn't deserve what he got, but... well... he put himself in the position he ended up in.
And your grandson, you said, is missing?
My own
Any
fault.
idea?
Bit of a shit. Guardian. Own lie. Been missing.
How long?
About a week now. Couple days. It's hard to pinpoint exactly when. I wasn't exactly lucid for
And how did he become lost?
well, Delvin's always been a headstrong lad. He doesn't really listen very well. Kinda like his father. Kinda like me. He had a friend. Eric. Carib. Lives down south, close to the docks. They'd play near the old fish market. And on the water's edge, too, even when I told them not to. The worst of it was when they'd steal boats and head out into the river. Carib says, said they did that. They took a boat, headed past Skull Isle, fishing. Something broke the surface, rocked the boat.
Alright,
twice.
come on, baby.
The second time, it pitched hard enough that Delvin went over. Carib says that he didn't see him come back up again. But about a minute later, and it's he like takes a sip from his drink, and you can see his hands kind of like shaking, right? Says about a minute later, he says he heard Delvin yelling from upriver, not down. Don't make no sense unless something took him. Asked around at the docks, didn't get much traction myself. And I weren't half as sober as I am now. Yeah.
Is Delvin the first to go missing like that?
People go missing in the Port of Shadows all the time. Dangerous place to live. But, the Sarg's a different matter. People come and go in the town. Mugged. Kidnapped. Sarg's. It's got a different type of, beast that hunts it.
Forgive me if I don't know all the terms down here. Sargs, is that the river?
The Sargoth. Delvin was knocked overboard. There wouldn't have been quippers. They don't have enough strength to rock the boat. And even if they did, Carib would have known. The water'd be red in moments.
I'm assuming those are the small bitey ones, huh?
Yeah. If it was something larger, water troll maybe. That close to Skull Isle. It just doesn't make any sense.
Did Carib see anything about what rocked the boat? Any hint of what it might be?
Yeah. Starting to remember why I drank myself into the stupor I was in. Yeah, he said something. There's only one creature I know that matches that description. Aquamarine skin. Kelp for hair. Sea bitch.
Well,
You set up river too, didn't you?
What he heard. I don't mean it wasn't her, though. Stillwater. She's got a... He calls it shop. On the shorefront. The old docks. The old slave market. Guess it makes sense, considering what her shop's selling. Still, if it was her, might be best I don't know in the end.
Take it. The slave trade isn't completely dead here in the Port of Shadows.
He kind of chuckles and he says, we don't do much trading in slaves these days. Even the Xanathar's not exactly keen on that idea. Stillwater trades, but I wouldn't exactly call her wares alive.
Well, what does Devlin look like, or Delvin look like?
Young lad. About 12, maybe. Freckles.
Wow.
Fair skinned. He kind of like, he tries to give you descriptions, but he's kind of like this old man. He's not the greatest with like descriptive terms, right? So you get the kind of concept that he's a young boy, right, with a good amount of freckles, a thin frame, maybe 4.5 feet tall, maybe. He's got kind of like light brown hair, about just below his ears, right? Burnin will go off on like a little story that like they always argue, right? Burnin tries to get him to cut it, and Delvin will, he wants to grow it longer, that type of scenario. But yeah, you're given a description where you think if you met the child, you could probably point him out.
Okay.
Though it does take Burnin a bit to try to like suss out enough details that aren't just like random freckled brown-haired child,
Yeah. Okay. You said her name's Stillwater?
Olive Stillwater.
And you said she's down by the docks near the old slave pens?
Yeah. Shop down there. Also, look at that. It does. Called the Dead Man's Corner.
All right.
All right. I think that's a pretty good place for us to start. I think me and my friends might take a stroll down there. And
So,
You're actually
not
gonna
help
look
me
into
back.
this.
Yeah.
told you we would.
We're not to say that, entirely selfish, but we wouldn't mind having a few friends here in town.
I have an odd
No.
choice in picking friends. If you want friends, I can help you. Probably be helping Olive Stillwater, not me. I got nothing. An old wash-up dockhand.
I gotta take it one person at a time.
Looking for friends, not money.
So he's kind of like finished that glass that he's poured for himself by this over the side. Well, seen stranger things in my life than honest folk, I suppose. But it's been a while. I don't really know what else to say.
Well,
I don't think you
I
got
guess,
it.
yeah. Hopefully, come back with some news.
And so I get up and kind of head towards the door. I'm assuming Ashes follows.
Yeah.
As I get to the door, I do turn and I say, "Do me a favor, though. At least until we get back. Go a little lighter on the drink. Make sure you're sober when we bring Delvin back."
Kind of nods and he says, "Yeah. Yeah, that'd probably be for the best."
Maybe stay away from that bar as well.
As much as I can. Sure.
All right. Well, you take it easy. We'll be back as soon as we can.
Okay. So while that was happening, it did take enough time, right, for him telling that story and giving you descriptions, etc., that if you guys wanted to take and this is a rush job, but I'm gonna say, if you guys wanted to take a short rest, you're more than welcome to. Likewise, Bones and Ezrah in the bar, nursing drinks, etc., right, can gain the benefits of a short rest as well if they would. Okay. So, as Ashes and Matashtai leave Burnin Storm Shores, Ezrah and Bones, is there anything happening with you guys in the Black Tankard, or are you guys literally just waiting to see if the bartender eventually leaves?
You're muted, by the way, Zach.
I've been saying many a thing.
Have you been saying? I saw you saying things, but I thought you might have been like on the phone or something like that. Yeah, I thought you were maybe like on speakerphone.
I was for a minute. No, mostly I was just yelling at Jake to burn the bar down.
Oh. Fair enough.
Good. I don't have fire.
It's not all of it, but it was, part of it.
Gotcha.
Good thing none of my spells do that.
Fair enough.
Quick, do it now, burn! Light it on fire!
So.
Just takes a single match. I don't know. Just, Ezra, pry some information from him. You're great at talking to people.
I am. I think that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Bones. That's wow.
And if all else fails, I'll stalk him and put a knife to his throat.
that turned dark really quick.
I'm assuming this is a very quiet, whispered conversation. Which, by the way, if you guys have been here for more than like 10 or 15 minutes, which you guys have, it's been roughly 30 minutes since you guys came in, right? But once you guys hit that kind of like 15-minute mark, are you making real strides on your drinks?
No, it tastes really bad.
Okay. It would be about that part that at that point that the bartender like calls over to you and says, "If you drink your fill, get out. We only have so many seats."
Are the other seats full? I look around.
Absolutely not.
Ah, yes. It's a busy establishment.
Aye, it is. So buy another drink or leave.
I guess I'll buy another drink.
Another 2 silver. You're not even like this far into your first drink.
Yeah. I give it to one of the Minotaur. So here you go, buddy.
He doesn't like respond to you. He's just like standing there, like arms crossed, and he doesn't like hold his hand out or anything like that. So
I put it on top of his crossed arms. I walk away.
the bartender looks over at you, right? And he says, "Oh, you're giving gifts again. Wonderful. Now pay me for the drink."
I don't know why you're so against gifts. Everyone likes gifts.
Sounds like a slimy-tongued whore trying to buy her way into people's hearts.
Oh, that's hurtful.
Slimy-tongued whore.
Buy your drink or get out.
All right, now, Ezra. This is when you light it on fire.
Fireball.
You light everything on fire.
What?
No, it's joking. I'm joking. It's fine. Unless
He crosses his arms.
I don't have fireball prepared and never will. Don't.
I'm not sure I appreciate you taking up my space anymore.
Oh, you don't appreciate money? You don't like money?
2 silver for your
I
drink.
just paid you.
Did you actually pay him?
Yes, probably. I deducted it from my bag.
Did you? Yeah, he's saying you giving 2 silver to the Minotaur is not paying him
No,
for your drink.
I gave the Minotaur the drink. I did not.
Oh,
give
you gave the Minotaur the
drink.
drink. That's better. Okay, gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Drink.
Okay. Is there anything else
I
you guys are
I'd
wishing to
fucking
accomplish?
hassle him for a while longer and find out why are you so cross?
Just in my nature.
Sure. You get anybody else in here? You got any favorite patrons?
Oh, they come and go.
Oh, tell me about them.
No.
Cool. Well, you're such a fun person to know.
I thought so
Yeah.
myself. That's why I woke up this morning. Because I wanted to be a fun person for you to know.
I mean, why else wake up? Do you have a job to do? Do you have a dark secret that you have to protect every day of your life?
You poking fun at me?
No, I never poke anything as I poke my finger with a dagger.
Yeah. I think you've worn out your welcome here. Leave.
Did June just get
Yeah,
more
right.
Australian?
Yeah.
Stuff tastes like piss.
Absolutely. Absolutely he did.
Did I just- yeah, I was kind of mocking him, if I'm honest with you.
And it got worse, right? Like I had a little Australian in there, and then Zach did a little Australian, so I did a little more Australian, and then Zach did a little more Australian, and then I was just like full on Australian, bad
Crikey.
Australian, but yeah.
Yeah, I leave then.
All right, you leave.
All right, Ezra, you got this. I believe in you.
Ezra, you stay.
No, I follow.
Good,
I
no,
follow-
good cop, bad cop. Good cop, bad cop. I'm bad cop. You're good cop.
Nope, I follow Bones. I am not cut for this.
Okay.
All right, well, on to plan 2.
All right. So,
Slightly drunk tailing.
slightly drunk tailing.
I spend the next amount of time disguising myself.
As
A cat with a cloak on.
I was gonna say, what do you fucking become a panther?
I cloak up.
okay,
I
gotcha.
put on my ninja
Understood.
mask. I put my mane down under it. No one will suspect I'm me. And I wait. I lie in wait.
He also puts boots on and gloves.
Yes, I do that as well.
Boots
I
and
don't want
pants and
anyone
boots
to
and
know.
pants and boots and pants.
No one will know it's I. Bones.
All right. Well, you do that, and then you guys wait for another 10 minutes or so before Matashtai and Ashes. Were you guys planning on heading back to the bar for Bones and Ezra, or are you guys heading out on other business?
No, I think we'd probably head back to
Try to reconvene.
back up and yeah.
So you find them not in the bar, but outside the bar. Where
As I approach, I see. Went well. I take it.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit.
Were you thrown out or asked to leave?
Little A, little B.
Not wrong.
Alright.
You know, he's surly, and he apparently hates being alive and awake. I don't know if that was just banter though. I think there was some truth to it.
Right. So what are we doing?
Well,
Waiting for him to
Ashes and
leave
I-
so I can stalk and torture the information out of him.
Let's be good.
Well, I'm okay. I'd like to move to not like right outside the door.
Sure. So you guys actually can
Um,
like head over to one of the nearby abandoned buildings that you'd found.
Yeah. Just still keeping an eye out a window or something on the door.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
sure.
he can probably walk out the other door at this point, but goddamn
Yeah.
that timing.
Absolutely.
But so, I give him the lowdown. Ashes and I follow Vernon back to his house and got a little bit of information about his missing grandson. I'll be honest, doesn't sound very promising for the kid, but I think we should still look into it. He mentioned a way he described it might have been another hag.
It's
Named,
definitely a hag.
named Olive Stillwater. Apparently, she's got a shop down by the docks near the old slave pens over there. And he says that the kid's friend saw what looked like an aquamarine, kelp-haired individual when Delvin went missing. So I'm thinking maybe stop by, poke around the shop a bit, see if we can't find any evidence that maybe she's keeping this kid somewhere. And I kind of give them a descriptor of what the kid looks like and stuff like that. And so if I told him we'd be back in a few days with an update, good or bad. At least we got something to start on. But I do think it might be important for us to still keep an eye on Droon here before we head over there. Because in my mind, if he's going to go to this clan Iron Eye and give him a heads up that we're looking for him, it's going to be tonight. He's not going to wait for tomorrow to do it. So I think if he's going to,
I don't really think
he's going to
he
give
cares
up
about
their location
literally
now, is going to be.
anything.
What'd you say?
I don't really think he cares about literally anything.
And that might be the case. Maybe we follow him and he leads us to his home. But the only lead we got at the moment.
Yeah, right.
So, what do you say we split up again? Someone take this warehouse here. Keep an eye on this exit. The other two go watch the other one. I've got the sending stone, so I'll go to the opposite of wherever Bones is here. And then when we see him leave, we'll meet back up and tail him.
I'd sounds good.
All right. Who's with me?
Maybe it's a good idea for us to switch it up, Ashes.
Oh, you don't want to be around me anymore?
I think you're right. Oh, I go with that.
Diversity is important in a group. Bones.
That's fucked up, Ezra.
No, I like it. That's funny.
I mean, you like to antagonize, and
I grab Ezra by the shoulders. I turn him towards the door. Before you get yourself into more trouble, there, buddy.
I mean, he could use a little muscle to back up the talking, and
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot of muscle there. So maybe the big scary demon folk might be better to aid you in that regard.
All right, Ashes, I'm going to need a board, a thin cloth, and a jug of water.
Okay.
Oh Jesus
All right.
Christ!
Yep.
I pull out the quarter barrel of water and I place it on the floor next to you.
I start looking at you and I'm like, wait a
We can
minute.
use, oh, we can use your shield. Oh yeah.
Okie dokie. So from there, you guys are trying to accomplish 2 different vantage points. I'm actually going to put you just outside. I'm going to remove the doors so you guys can kind of see in and out of. So this is the door, the building where you guys are right now. But
Yeah,
you're
my
looking
waterboarding.
at this entrance, right? And
Exactly
then
the evil campaign to play to get this out of his system.
and then over here, you guys would be able to pop into this building, basically right across the way. But you're looking at over here. Okay. So
Also, so obviously, if we're staking out and going to be trying to follow this guy, I've got the drift globe off.
Okay.
I'm assuming there's some sort of light in Skullport if this dude's a human and walking around.
not much, no.
Minimal, super minimal.
Yeah, there's super minimal light.
Okay, well, minimal's more than not.
Yes, yeah. So
Okay.
there's residual light from most people that are walking around carry torches or lanterns. Vernon wasn't carrying anything because he was fucking wasted. So he was just stumbling through dark alleys that he knew by heart, right? But most of the humans that are walking around you see carrying some sort of light source, right? But other than that, there's not like street
if we get
lamps
in
or
here-
anything like that.
If we get in here, then I'm gonna look at Ezra and say, "You're gonna have to be the eyes here, bud. I can't see
Oh.
shit out there."
That's I'll try.
What your eyes see,
I'll hand the staff of healing back to Matashtai.
Thank you. Glad you didn't have to use it.
what your eyes see over the course of the next how long are you guys taking out? As long as it takes?
As long as it takes.
With my passive perception of 9,
I figure we'll give it till bar close.
So it's about 6. For the
AM?
next several hours, you guys stake this place out, and you watch many people come and go. And it starts to get pretty packed in the evening hours, in the late evening hours, to the point to where you think there's probably the earlier comment there, Bones, about the no seating scenario. You probably think there isn't seating. There are probably people standing up in the bar with as many people as you have seen go inside at that point, right?
People standing up in a bar?
People standing up in a bar?
Blasphemy is
What?
this?
But none of that really matters if all you guys are doing is staking it out. You guys have been awake since prior to 8 a.m. It's the wee hours. You guys get to that point to where you're getting weary, right? You're getting tired, because it goes past what would be midnight, right? It gets into like 1, 2 a.m. before people start to kind of like filter out. The last kind of like couple groups begin to filter out. And eventually, right, coming out of the place, you see a big ass, on the west side, you see a big ass Minotaur, followed by the Dwargar and the little spectator, and then the second Minotaur.
Bones, we got him over on our side. Does he send me mental images via the sending stone?
I guess.
Oh, did you sending stone me this? Aren't you
Yeah,
within range of
he's sending
telepathy?
stoned you.
You're outside of my range to do that. It's 60 feet.
Oh. I see. Well, okay. Yeah, right.
You
this
two
is
are able,
stalking.
while this is happening, you two are able to kind of like identify that they head south a little ways and then westward and then up a couple of different ramps and up some catwalks, and you see them like heading up into the city above you.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Move.
I tail him.
Keep an eye
I
out.
tail him real hard.
You guys are like super far away. You and Ashes are gonna have to like run your asses over there. So
I'll
here's
run
the
my
here's
ass
the
over
question.
there.
Here's the question. Matashtai and Ezrah, are you guys like cautiously following them, or are you waiting for Bones and Ashes? It's only
I
gonna
am
take Bones and
towing the
Ashes a little
line.
bit.
Like I'm trying to keep some sort of vision on them, or at least be able to hear where they're going.
Okay. What I need to happen is Matashtai and Ezra basically follow them up to the second level as Bones and Ashes kind of make it over to Harold's Meat, right? And you guys can kind of see Matashtai and Ezra winding up this ramp, right? I need you guys
Oh no.
to roll a d6 because there's a lot of other people in this fucking place, and we're gonna see what happens.
We can't
Okay,
track
so-
the giant
sorry.
fucking
I will
minotaur?
say,
No,
I
I'm
do
not.
wanna
I'm not talking
clarify-
about you're losing anybody. There's a completely different thing that's happening right now.
I want to clarify one thing real quick.
Yes.
If there's
Okay.
a lot of other people around,
No,
I'm
no. Okay,
not
there's not like
sidling
dozens of
up to a
people around.
wall
I'm
and, like-
saying this is a city with a bunch of other people in it. I'm not saying there are like
Okay.
dozens of people around you right now, and I'm not saying you're losing these big ass minotaurs. But what happens is, so I'm gonna move these guys off of this section of the map. They're on a different section of the map now. They're outside of your vision range. Well, not out. They're outside of what you guys can see at the moment on the map, but they're still within your vision range. Okay. Ezra and Ashes, you make yourself. You guys are at this ramp, kind of like coming up to this ramp. Bones and Ashes, you guys are about here. You're kind of like coming up to the Herald's Meat, and you can see Ezra and Matashtai over on the side. Okay, you rolled a 5.
I was gonna say, if we get to a point where like they wouldn't be able to see us coming over to where the exit was, I would tell Ezra to kind of hang back and be kind of like that link, so that they can get visual moving forward.
Jeremy's got this grin thing.
He's got an
going
evil
on.
grin on. He's got something real devious planned.
If you want Ezra to hang back, he will gladly hang
You
out.
guys have
as
just
that
been
grin creeps
waltzing
up.
around the Port of Shadows like it ain't no thing.
It ain't no thing.
I mean, that's a thing, but it's
All right.
also a city.
Ashes, what's your passive perception?
14.
Okay. Bones, what's your passive perception?
Like 60
18.
feet.
That's good.
That's like double what I have.
That's good. Because Bones, you see the ripple of movement out of the corner of your eye as you and Ashes race to catch up to Matashtai and Ezra. But Ashes does not. Ashes is focused on the task at hand. So he does not see the figure move out of the darkness to his side. He does not see the dark-robed, purple-skinned creature that steps next to him. And in his mind, he hears,
Jesus fuck.
"Ah, dinner has arrived for the knights."
Mind flayer coming at you, boy.
and you
So,
guys,
right here-
you two see this
Yeah.
come out of the
Called it.
shadows at you. So,
Neilor.
next time on Dungeon of the Mad Mage, we will see how this turns out.
God damn it! I love how the mind
Oh.
flayer goes after them. I have psionic resistance.
I'm fucking okay with it because between the two of us, it would come after me, and you just. Oh,
Probably
sweet
why it
fuck.
came after us.
It probably just came out after you guys because it saw two individuals that it thought it could take and have a nice meal.
So this thing
fair
legit just walks around eating people in the city?
Welcome to the Port of Shadows.
Why the fuck
Welcome.
would anyone live here?
Some people don't really have a choice.
And others know where to avoid.
So how many 4-foot-tall, freckled, blonde-headed kids has this mind flayer been picking off?
17 to 30 an hour.
17 to 30
Like,
an
what's stopping this thing from
hour.
just walking into everybody's homes at night and just eating them?
I like how we're actually like talking to Jeremy like, explain yourself.
The same thing that keeps anybody from walking into somebody's home in the middle of the night and eating them. That somebody
Goat's
might
blood
end up fighting
smeared
back.
over the doorway.
Yeah. Basically. Right? Sure, this thing probably hunts weaklings, but again, you've seen throughout the city that people tend to travel in groups. Right? Minotaur boys with their spectator and Dwargar buddy are traveling as a group through the city. So
That's fair.
is what it is. Alright, anyways. So next time we will see how this all
For sure.
pans out. We'll see if Bones and Ashes are able to fend off this Illithid, if Matashtai and Ezrah keep the tail or join their allies. What's gonna happen? We'll see next time on Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Bye, everybody.
Next time.